Am I the only one who's been struggling with Real Housewives Ultimate Girls Trip Africa? I was very excited for this season, but there's just something about episode 1 that just didn't get me going, and that's why I've been struggling to share my thoughts on the video. But anyway, I decided that I owe you guys this, so these are my thoughts on episode 1 before I get into episode 2 and 3 and share my thoughts on those. Although the cast was announced online in the lead up to the show, it doesn't change the fact that we get to meet them one by one as they join the cast for this, but we don't get to meet all of them in episode 1, just a few of them, as we get to see them finding out about who else is on the cast, as well as where they'll be staying for the season. Angel Ngobile Ndlela is the first Real Housewives Ultimate Girls Trip Africa cast member that we meet, and we get to see her go pick up fellow Real Housewives of Durban cast member Jojo Robinson. Very early on, we get to see that OG status is a very big deal in the Real Housewives world. And this is particularly important in Africa because Bravo is now officially in Africa. So this opens the door to a lot of things, not just BravoCon. You will realize that a lot of the housewives from the African franchises don't have relationships with Andy. So I'm sure a lot of them are clamoring for that, and relationships with housewives from the other international franchises, and the possibility of like crossovers and other lucrative opportunities that might arise from being part of the Bravo franchise. But it's also a game of seniority. So you'll see them very early on trying to establish their seniority and their affiliation to the franchise by way of either being the longest running franchise, which is Durban, the housewife who's done the most amount of seasons on the continent, which will then go to the housewives of Durban, and also some OG status. This is also why you'll hear Jojo and Angel remind us that Durban, and they themselves as the cast members from Durban, are the anchors of the season, and why Durban is like the longest running franchise. And in Jojo's case, she tried to deflect and say, it's the fans that said I'm a real housewife, but she's trying to remind us that she is married and she only decides to make money when she feels like it, not because she needs it, because Mr. Calvin's got the things going on in the household. We then get to meet Dr. C, and though I'm aware of who she is, full disclosure, I never got to finish Nairobi. I just stopped watching one day and I never went back. All my friends watched it, they were all talking about it, telling me I needed to go back, and just there was nothing drawing me back to finishing Nairobi. And even now with the recaps and all the F-bombs that we see in the recap or the flashback to the Nairobi season 1, there's nothing that's telling me girl, you need to see what happened. I'm getting the gist here on Ultimate Girls Trip Africa. Up next, we meet Miriam Timmer, and though I did finish season 1 of Lagos, I didn't finish season 2. The bickering just got so annoying, but I am very aware of Miriam and the kind of personality that she is, and I must say I am excited to see what she will be bringing to Ultimate Girls Trip Africa. Despite rumors of trouble in paradise between her and her husband, Anthony Ludik Mthembu introduces herself by her full name and includes her husband, estranged husband, I don't know what's going on there, but she does include his surname in her name when she's introducing herself. After her introduction, she then joins Jojo and Angel in the Sprinter as they make their way to the villa, and immediately producers address the elephant in the room, which is the status of Jojo and Annie's relationship, considering the explosive end to Annie's final season on the show. As they wrap that cute little scene up, we get the first appearance we've all been waiting for, which is Madame Evodia Mogase. I really enjoy seeing her on the show, and although she did only one season of The Real Housewives of Johannesburg, the first season, she is one of the most memorable characters, and you can't deny that kind of impact. She actually, in the lead up to the show, you guys were reviving that scene between her and Crystal, where they were fighting in the boutique and they swore at each other, and Crystal swore at her from one perspective, Madame Evodia understood it from her own perspective, and it led to one of the most memorable scenes in the entire history of the Real Housewives franchise on the African continent. They break up the intros by showing us where the woman will be staying in Rio, and that is where we meet Pablo. Pablo is the concierge at Villa Paranagua, which is in Saint Teresa, which is one of Rio's historically most affluent suburbs. So while it was at the top spot at some point, it got knocked off by other suburbs in Rio, but they're staying in a little bit of a fancy area. But I'm glad Madame Evodia clocked the exterior of that villa because it was not giving luxury. I've been to that part of the world before, so you will understand that for security reasons and the, things that have transpired in some of those countries, places that attract tourists, especially wealthy and high-end tourists, have to take security measures to ensure people's safety. And sometimes safety isn't always aesthetic. I'm not saying that the two can't be synonymous, but you kind of do understand once you've been to that part of the world why it might look like that. Can I also just share a side note to say, I thought Miriam's arrival outfit, that like beaded mini dress with the 3D accents, was a little bit too extra. Like, you're technically supposed to be coming from the hotel where you were being held before filming starts to the villa. Everyone else was dressed in a casual way, and then here you come with a beaded gown. Girl, that was given a little bit too much too early on. Like, it's still episode 1, relax. As we get to see the women's room assignments, I know JoJo thought she was the OG, but producers kind of told her no with that room assignment that she got. Still a beautiful room, definitely still a beautiful room and a beautiful villa, but when you look at the hierarchy, it's looking like Madame and Dr. C are at the top of it, because Madame's room, beautiful, had a view. I think it had a tub in it, I might be wrong, and also Dr. C's suite, exquisite, and it's showing you what the hierarchy is if you're paying attention. I'm not saying JoJo can't get there, I'm just saying the producers are letting you know you're not there yet in their eyes. Princess Jikoko's intro and arrival are rolled into one, and though I know who she is and what franchise she's from, I don't remember much from her season, and not just her, like her I don't remember those plans, the drama there, it just wasn't that memorable for me, no shade. Now that the intros are done, we get our first group scene by the pool where the women have to pretend like this whole time they haven't seen each other. Like, now that we're going to the pool, this is the first time we're seeing each other and finding out who else is on this trip. The diary sessions were giving, the shade was light, it was cute, it was fun. Miriam calling JoJo a color book, tattoo body, that was very funny for me. Miriam might actually eat the lines this season. I mean, it's early on, I'm giving you my thoughts on episode 1. We have to see what she's going to be giving for the rest of the season, but she's a very good contender because y'all all know bullets! Da, 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 da. Y'all remember that, so I think she's going to be giving us a lot of one-liners this season. Speaking of shade, Dr. C, girl. Dr. C came out of the gate guns blazing. She was just like, I'm gonna give it all to you. Like, she decided what role she was gonna be playing this season, and you'd swear this lady's up for an Oscar because she was like, I don't want any confusion about who I am on this cast. The thing that bored me was her pretending like she didn't know who all the ladies were, but expecting them to know who she is. And a lot of the other housewives do that, but I was like, girl, come on. If Madame Evodia can watch all the other housewives this seasons just to see what to expect and to see who she might be on this trip with, you can definitely do the same. I don't care if you want to pretend that people having TVs in their lounge is a poverty mindset. We're past the fourth industrial revolution at this stage. It's not just TV where you could watch these things. You could even watch some of the episodes on the plane, on your way to Rio, on your way to other trips where you probably were going in the lead up to this. We know you were pretending. You know exactly who these people are, especially because you know who Lassie and Nonku are. You know who Madame Evodia Mogase is. And I'm glad that Angel is one of the people who gave Dr. C's shade right back to her by asking her, which one are you again? Which show are you from? I know Angel was pretending, and I'm glad she owned it in her diary where she's like, I know who she is, but I was just giving her a taste of her own medicine. Shout out to you for that one, Angel. Speaking of the gathering by the pool and the pretense hierarchy, y'all can pretend and act all you want, but it is not by design that Madame got to the villa first, got one of the best rooms, and arrived at the pool gathering last. No matter what the ladies say, the producers are letting you know who the real OG and who the real Madame is, and it is definitely Madame Evodia Mogase, and this cements the fact of why we all missed her, why we were excited that she's on the season, and why we were looking forward to not only seeing her back on our screens again, but seeing her interact with her arch nemesis Crystal K. I don't have much to say about the final dinner scene. In all honesty, it was actually quite boring. Dr. C is the villain. You guys all don't like her. You found issues with her comments. You don't like her. What else is new? It's episode 1. We're going to be seeing this for 9-10 more episodes? Give me something else. I'm ready for the other 2 girls to show up and for Crystal and Madame to get into it. I know Dr. C is going to try and pipe up and try and get into that beef. And I don't know if she's going to be able to hold her own. I don't know how she's going to be able to fare against Crystal. It will be interesting to see, but those are my thoughts on episode 1 of Real Housewives Ultimate Girls Trip Africa. If you've watched it, are you finding it entertaining? Are you struggling with it? Are you guys bored? Let me know what you think, and I will share my episodes on episode 2 and 3 with you shortly.